But what really struck me immediately, and I was the fact that all of us, we have a phrase, it could be phrased differently depending on what language, but we do have a phrase that goes along the lines of saying, one who comes without gifts is likely bringing a message. And the reason why I took that, I was saying to myself, it means back in the olden days, there was always a concept of a visitor. There was always a concept of, I think you call a visitor with Mweni, that's what we call them. But that visitor would always come with something. Always, the visitor will come with something. And the one who doesn't come with something is probably just bringing a message, but the visitor will come with something. Often what they are going to bring is more than what you will give to them, because what you will do, probably slaughter a goat, you will probably slaughter a chicken, they will overnight, maybe 2 nights, 3 nights, something like that. Sometimes they will stay for much longer, and then you have to report them to the chief that we do have a visitor in case they see some stranger moving around you and so on. And I looked at all these things and I was saying, these things are actually the current system we're using. The reporting of this person to the chief is no different from the visa systems and all those kinds of things. We must know that this person is here. Again, we have people who will come with dollars, they will come with pounds, they will come with yens, they will come with the rands, whatever, all those currencies. They will come with more. They bring more gifts than what we are going to do for them. That balance is what we are looking for. It's been done all along. It's not something. So we are not doing any taboo. We are not pickpocketing people. We are actually doing what we have always been doing as Africans. It's been our culture. But the hospitality that we're extending was very, very phenomenal. Now, what does that have to do with sustainability? Sustainability is what we left back. It's what we left back. The more we go back to where we come from, the more we become sustainable. So when Amani says gastronomy tourism, and you go and visit there where you are going to have the real taste of Africa, I would say, you are actually going back to sustainability. The ingredients will never run out. They grow for free. So those are the kinds of things we need to actually say to ourselves. But when we then get to the technical part of it as well, we have to realize that there's been a lot of agreements, protocols, and so on that have been signed, but we have not implemented them. In the aviation environment, we've got the single Africa air travel market. We have not implemented it. And it can resolve our problems. We also have not implemented the free movement of people. It's a protocol, it exists. Our heads of states have signed this. And they want us to find ways of implementing these things, but we have not done that. These are actually going to bring us to a sense of sustainability in terms of aviation, but also in terms of how we control the movement, whether you allow people to announce that they're coming and so on, but there must be some mechanisms that we develop around it. We have to harmonize our standards, whether it's the products themselves, whether it's the services that we render, whether it is the financial systems in terms payment systems, whether it's the kind of levies that we take and so on. And the main purpose for that level of standardization is that when one crosses Bay Bridge from the Vembe district to the Bay Bridge province, there must be that seamlessness. Must be that seamlessness. We saw that when there is necessity, we are quick to come together and find very useful solutions. So we're all afraid of COVID-19. Our fathers, all of them, they came together very quickly. All of them, they came quickly together and they said, we're excluded. It looks like Africa is going to be right at the back when it comes to vaccines. What do we do? We are here now. We got vaccinated and all that. We are here. Now, I'm using that example because we are not treating poverty the same way. People die of hunger. People die of malnutrition. People die of, what do we call these things? The weather patterns and conditions. All of that is because of poverty. But we are not treating it exactly the same way that we actually treated COVID. There's an opportunity for us that through tourism, that level of sustainability and that level of pushback when it comes to issues of poverty and so on, all these sustainable development goals related, we can actually get ourselves back into some form of I would say, Honorable Minister, that the industry is probably a little bit ahead of us in terms of working together. They are putting packages together, and you would have a typical package that goes from someone arrives in OR Tambo, goes to Cape Town, goes to Okavango, goes to Vic Falls, and experiences the region. Now, the industry is already packaging that, but it is important for us at a government level to complement. There are instances where one would go to a SADC meeting and colleagues coming from the same country speak at one meeting, but in Discord. I must say, I was sitting quietly and observing. There's a lot of cooperation and collaboration that I saw amongst the people working for your government. A lot of it. And the number of ministers that are here and the deputy ministers that are here bear testimony. The integration, yesterday we heard about the heritage based education 5.0. Very inspiring, but the way it was reduced to practical implementation using tourism as a tool, it was really phenomenal. Those are the things that are going to sustain tourism in Zimbabwe. Those are the things that are going to sustain. But they are the same things that are going to sustain tourism in the region. The other issue, which really is quite close to me, is the fact that the more we advance, the lesser we know each other. And in part also not visiting one another. So if I've got enough money, where do I have to go? Do I have to go to that other place? I'm not going to market places here. I want to go to that other place across the sea and so on. And not knowing the product that is here. Not knowing the product that is here. We need to make sure that at a people-to-people level, there is more promotions of traveling to each other's destination. We must also have events and activities that are of cross-border in nature. Spend the night on the other side today, tomorrow you get back on track with your activity, then you sleep on the other side. But the communities that are there are actually benefiting from this, whether it is the food that they will be providing, whether it is the shelter in terms of homestays that they will be providing. Those are the kinds of things that will definitely sustain us going forward. Collaboration at the policy level must take place, but it will not be sufficient on its own. So private and public sector will have to work together. Will have to work together. One issue that I really must mention is that we need to develop solutions that are suitable for our environment. And I will give an example of what these solutions are. We need a booking engine for Southern Africa. It's a challenge to private sector. We will book from there. Because what is happening is that when you book from the booking engines that are coming from abroad, some of them will charge you 30% commission. What's left to pay the decent wages? What is left to be able to still operate properly and so on? And at the same time, I think there is a much greater collaboration we need to have, not just as tourism, but as the continent and even also as the region. We do need to look at the aspect of how are we going to make sure that data, I mean, all of you have got cell phones, but none of us own the data that is in that cell phone, by the way. Not one. We have got a Malabo Convention, many countries have signed, but we have not acceded to it. So we cannot actually then own that data. We don't have our own data centers to actually store that data. So as such, we are the consumers on these cell phones, but we are also the data ourselves being fed into those machines. So we do need to find a way that those kinds of things, as we move forward, are actually addressed.